All right, today we're diving into the absolutely incredible journey of sailing Uma. This is a story about two people who decided to sail around the world, but with this really radical twist. They wanted to do it with no diesel engine at all. They have this great motto: if you want to travel the world, don't buy a couch. And man, did they take that to heart. Kika and Dan, they wanted to get out there, see new countries, learn about different cultures, but totally on their own terms. And that meant no noisy, smelly fossil fuel engine humming away right in the middle of their home. And they've actually done it. I mean, get this, over the last 11 years, this couple has sailed more than 28,000 nautical miles. We're talking crossing entire oceans, going from the tropics all the way up to the Arctic Circle. And in all that time, through all those thousands of miles, they've used exactly 0 gallons of diesel. Not a drop. It's just an incredible achievement. So the big question is, how on earth did they do it? Okay, so let's break down exactly how they pulled this off. We're going to look at their initial dream, their super clever DIY start, and then think about what their whole journey might mean for the future of sailing. So it all kicked off with this really simple but powerful idea. Dan put it perfectly. Neither of them liked the thought of having a tractor engine in the middle of our living room, right? Their whole goal was to live sustainably and just travel on their own terms. They had just graduated from architecture school, so, not a lot of money, but they had a big vision. They found this boat, Uma, in 1972 Pearson 36, that, honestly, most people probably would have just sent to the scrapyard. The engine was shot, the inside was a total wreck. But they saw potential. They weren't afraid of a challenge. So how did they even get started? Well, with barely any money, their first jump into electric power was just a masterclass in DIY ingenuity. Okay, check this out. After graduating, they worked like crazy to save up 10 grand. They bought Uma for just $3,000, and then they got right to work. They actually found a used forklift motor on eBay for $100. $100! And they just combined it with some old golf cart parts to build their very first electric engine. Wild. But of course, that first setup, it had some pretty serious problems. Yeah, it was cheap and quiet, which was great, but it could only run for about 15 minutes before it started overheating. Plus, there was no way to get any power back into the batteries. It was a start, for sure, but it was nowhere near a long-term solution. Right, so clearly that first motor wasn't going to cut it forever. Their system had to evolve. And what started as this kind of scrapyard project slowly turned into something way more advanced through a series of major tech upgrades. You can really see the progression here, this clear climb from that simple, really limited concept all the way up to this highly sophisticated, custom-programmed system. Each step they took got them closer to their ultimate goal, which wasn't just using power, but actually generating it from the sea itself. The real game changer for them was this thing called the Oceanvolt servo prop. Basically, it's a propeller where the blades can actually change their angle. So what does that mean? Well, it can be optimized for pushing the boat forward, but here's the cool part. When they're sailing, it can be pitched to act like an underwater turbine. It just spins in the current and generates electricity from the boat's own movement through the water. So cool. And this technology was so effective that, after years with just one motor, they decided to go all in and upgrade to not one, but 2 of these advanced servo props. Now, they weren't trying to get more speed. That's just not how these boats work. Instead, they were getting this amazing trifecta of benefits. First, they could double their power generation while sailing. Second, they got this incredible maneuverability for docking in tight spots. And third, they built in a complete backup system. If one motor fails, they still have another one. It's all about power, precision, and redundancy. Just like Dan said, being able to control 2 independent motors means they can handle the boat with a level of precision that you usually only see on catamarans. For any sailor trying to squeeze into a crowded harbor, that kind of control and safety is just a massive advantage. But their journey into this cutting-edge green tech also sparked a really fascinating debate about what it actually means to be sustainable. So get this, when they sailed way up into the high Arctic, they posted on Instagram that the power at the dock in Longyearbyen, which is the world's northernmost town, came from a coal plant. So for a moment, their electric boat was technically coal-powered. And being honest about that, well, it led to some criticism online. Some critics pointed to this as hypocrisy. The argument was basically, hey, if the whole system isn't perfectly green, from the lithium in your batteries to the source of shore power, then the whole thing is kind of a failure. But the counter-argument, which is captured perfectly here, frames their journey in a totally different way. It's not about this impossible quest for purity. It's about making meaningful progress. The point isn't to be perfect overnight, right? It's to keep reducing your impact and push the boundaries of what we all think is possible. And that brings us to the final, big takeaway from this whole incredible story. What does their 11-year experiment actually mean for everyone else? What they've done is provide this powerful proof of concept. They've literally shown a path forward, going from a $100 forklift motor to a super sophisticated system that can, in the right sailing conditions, create more energy than it even uses. They've proven that this off-grid, zero fossil fuel life isn't just possible, it's actually practical. So their journey, from this simple dream to a state-of-the-art electric boat, it really leaves us with a compelling question. As this kind of technology gets better and the costs eventually come down, are we looking at the future of the entire marine industry? I guess only time will tell.